Hi, everybody. All right, so we got take two of our Friday conversation. I wanted to get back with you all right away because there were a few questions that came in regarding my first video today with the information. So I wanted to get back with you, and we'll drill down a little bit more on some of the facts, or at least some of the facts today. Keep in mind, this is such a fluid thing, and it changes every day. Uh, the federal government tries to get things out as quickly as possible, and they don't have all the answers when they get it out. So they get it to us. I try to pass it to you all as quickly as possible, and I give you what we've got. So, but let's go over some things. So there were some more questions regarding the family-friendly Coronavirus Act. So as we've talked about in the past, there's two components to this act. One is the emergency paid sick leave, and that's up to 2 weeks. So you've got the virus or you've got symptoms of the virus, and you're either quarantined or self-quarantining yourself for 2 weeks. So you step away from work, you have 2 weeks of a 100% paid time off. The other component to the act is the family leave part. 10 weeks of being at home with your kids. Kids, they're out of school because schools are closed and the daycares are closed, and you need to be home with your kids. So you got up to 10 weeks of that. That is at 2/3 pay. So there's been questions about, okay, what happens with the other third? As I've said in a prior video, we've been discussing this with our attorneys. The best that they can tell us is the federal government has never been clear as to if that other 1/3 is eligible to claim unemployment compensation. So their advice to me, and what I passed on to you all, and I'll do it again, is file. Let's see what happens. They'll send something to us. We won't challenge it. And if they pay it, great. But we don't know yet. Nobody knows if they're going to pay it or not. So those of you that are out with your kids and have to stay out, file, and let's see what happens. I hope they pay it, but we just don't know yet. They've not said. There's a few of you who are on leave that are wanting to know about coming back. What I will tell you is, if you no longer qualify for the leave, then come back to work. Or if you can make other arrangements to take care of your kids and want to come back to work, come back to work. We want you. We'll be glad to have you. Let your manager know, and we'll put you in the schedule and get you right back to work. There's also some people that are wanting to know about how this whole thing works with intermittent leave. You're taking turns week by week with your spouse to stay home, teaching your kids with the e-learning, and so you'll be there 1 week and then you'll work 1 week. Well, what I can tell you is this: you can do intermittent leave. Now, you can go weekly, or you can even do it by day. We can't do it any less than daily. But know this: for the days that you are out with family leave, you will get 2/3 of whatever a normal day's pay is for you. When you're working, you will get 100% compensation of whatever a normal day's compensation is. So whatever that combination is, if you're out 2 days, that's what you get. If you're out 4 days and you work 1 day, then 4 of the 5 days you'll get 2/3, and 1 day you'll get full. So that's how the intermittent works. Again, for those of you that are working, the way that we explained it before when it was 2/3, where we said no, regardless of how many hours you work, up to that 27 hours. 27 hours was 2/3 of 40 hours. That's what you'd be paid. If you worked more than the 27 hours, you'd be paid for that. It's the same way as before, except now it's not 27 hours that you'll be paid, it's 40 hours, if in fact you work 40 hours. Again, we go back 6 months, we see what your average number of hours worked, we see what your average amount of compensation is, and that's how much you're going to get unless you happen to work more than that, in which case you'll be paid more. So I hope that is a little bit better explanation. I will tell you truly, if it's still confusing, and I get it, this is confusing. It's confusing for all of us. You know, they try to get this stuff out as quickly as they can, and we give you what we've got. But if it's still confusing, call and talk to your manager, or better yet, call and talk to me. I'd love to talk to you, and we can work through it together until it makes sense. I want you all to understand how this works. So, again, have a nice weekend, have a nice Easter, and I'll talk to you all later.